But we took. What did Paul Harvey say that? Right now for the rest. Now for the rest. Yes, sir. Huh? I already got one of these.
The June 21st, 2020 meeting of the City Council is called, or rather 2022 meeting of the City Council is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Will do. Alderman Redpath.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Fulgenzi.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman DeCenso.
Present.
Alderman McMiniman.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Langfelder.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, a quorum is present.
Thank you. We just have two items on the zoning agenda. The first item is docket number 2022-025 for the property located at 2540 South First Street. Petitioner is a sign company, present zoning classification is B1 Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033. Requested zoning relief, a variance of Section 155.320A, permitted accessory and premise signs to permit two freestanding signs on the frontage along South First Street. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval as submitted. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
Yes, I move to accept the recommendation of the Springfield Regional Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second motion.
Been moved and second to accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Commission. And second, any discussion? All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the docket passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2022-026 for the property located at 1015 Reservoir Street. Petitioner is Marshall Real Estate LLC. Present zoning classification is R2, Single Family and Duplex Residence District, Section 155.017. Requested zoning relief, a variance of Section 155.157, discontinuance of use to allow the continued use of both the primary and ancillary structures as residences. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval limited to the two existing residences. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept the recommendation from Sangamon County Regional Planning.
Second.
Been moved and second to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation for approval. And second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open. And the docket passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. And that concludes our zoning portion of the meeting. This time, the chair will recognize Treasurer Busher for presentation of the financial report.
Thank you, Mayor Langfelder. The corporate fund in the month of May had a beginning balance of $49,138,450. We took in total receipts of $17,353,580. We had total disbursements in the month of May of $9,701,124, which left the corporate fund with an ending balance in the month of May of $56,790,906. Mayor Langfelder, of that total, your ARPA fund balance at that time would have been $31,045,483 with the new monies you received this month from the ARPA funding. Thank you, Mayor Langfelder.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
And second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Financial report passes. We do have two presentations. One is Doug Brown or someone from CWLP to give an update regarding the power generation.
Actually, you get me, Amber Saban, Public Information Office tonight.
Right?
While they get this queued up, what I'm going to give is some updates on where we are with preparing for MISO energy emergencies and our communications items that we've developed. Some of the steps, as a reminder, that come ahead of conservation and rolling blackouts. And we were able to present this to the chamber yesterday, so we wanted to bring this to you guys tonight. So we are here because MISO, our regional grid operator, projected a 5,000 megawatt shortfall. That's largely due to plant retirements, along with high predicted usage for the summer. And we all hope this doesn't happen this summer. We know the risks improve next year or increase next year, but this is good for us to all get ready and be educated on the topic. This is not the correct presentation. This looks like the presentation from a couple of weeks ago.
Can I email it to you?
Can we send it via email? Can we put it on there?
There it is.
There you go.
Perfect. So as a reminder, are ahead of any risk of rolling blackouts. We call those protective power outages for the grid. MISO will make determinations, declarations, communicate those to us. And then MISO takes steps, and all the regional utilities take steps. That's importing energy, delaying maintenance, adding generation, peakers, then the public appeals for voluntary conservation, and then as a last resort, load shed, protective power outages, rolling blackouts. So for conservation watches and warnings, if those early steps don't take hold, then MISO is going to direct us for voluntary conservation. We have our top 100 customers and public appeals that we can implement. It'll be for a specific time and time frame and for a particular load need. And often that's going to be at a certain hour of the day. It's going to say to start that, and we'll continue that until the emergency is lifted. And it's going to be often on a weekday and an afternoon, because that's when peak is typically. Here's a snapshot of MISO steps and warnings and all of the many factors that go into the electric grid. We have cold and hot weather alerts, conservative operations, and then the emergency operations that we're hearing about that go from alerts, warnings, and events. So this is just to show you all the early steps that come into play before we get to public notification. So how are we going to sync these advisories to CWLP public notifications? We're looking at some different levels to make it easy to understand. A green level is no emergency, requiring conservation. Yellow level is like a watch, alert to be ready to conserve, kind of like a tornado watch. You think you get ready, it's not a warning yet. Orange level is a warning to go and conserve. Red level is your event emergency, protective power outages. And as we've been discussing, we're going to do these in 15-minute increments until the energy is lifted. And that's by design of our electric system and circuits that we can do that on a small level for a limited amount. Ameren has announced they're doing these for 90 minutes, and some of the other utilities are 1 hour. So I think we're very fortunate at least to have the 15-minute option for Springfield. Here are some imagery to go with our alerts to make it easy to understand. We're going to use these on our social media with our news releases and all of our partners and you guys that help us share information. Again, starting with the green level, no emergency, the yellow, watch to conserve, the orange, warning to conserve, and the rolling blackout, which we describe as a protective power outage. And again, maybe we don't have to use these this year, but the ready to conserve and conserve may come. So on city notifications, to maximize those, we're on social media, Facebook and Twitter. We encourage all of our customers to update their contact information with us, email address and phone numbers. Those sync with our outage management system, and we can use those in future text alerts and communications. We also have our MyCWLP online account management. And then through the city, we have text alerts, and we have the neighborhood news. And you can sign up at those at springfield.il.us. And then I have the public information at cwlp.com for anybody that needs help signing up for those. Then a quick look, we've had the energy emergency information on our homepage since last month. Today, ISD worked very quickly to get us a standalone page that we've been working on. It's cwlp.com/energy emergency. And we've got all the FAQs and background that we're going to give you today and that we've given to date. And we're certainly not going to discount everyday conservation. That's at the Save Energy, Save Water tab there on our page. Then on our outage map, some of you are familiar with that, but we do have a place where you can check the status of your power outage. So you put in your street address number and your account phone number, which is why it's important you have that up to date with us. And it will tell you if it's a known outage that dispatch is aware of. And then you can even click on the outage triangle, and as long as they're ahead of the game over at dispatch, they're going to say it's a maintenance outage. It's an equipment failure. We might have to put rolling blackout in there next year, but you'll have that information there. So just quickly to go over ways to reduce for energy emergencies. We know a lot of these. These are voluntary conservation steps, again, for specified hours, peak hours, hot temps. If we have any other major shortfall at another time of the year or in the winter season, there's things that you do a little bit differently. But basically, your top users of energy in a typical property is the air conditioning first, water heaters, large appliances, anything you can do to delay use of those during the period we specify. I know everyone's upset that they won't be able to do laundry, but you put that off to the next day. Disconnect electronics, shade your windows. And then here's a few more. A lot of these are good for businesses. Dehumidifiers, disconnecting electric water heaters just for the temporary basis, unplugging water fountains, taking your chilled water supply to your HVAC up by 5 degrees, reducing lighting, parking lot lighting, showrooms, displays if they're not needed, non-essential pumps and processes if you can do that. We don't expect everybody to be able to do all of these, but as a reminder, everyone in the MySIL emergency is going to be trying to reduce along the impacted zones, which is a multi-state area. So a plug for our energy services office, Save Energy, Save Water tab, cwlp.com. And again, they do a lot more than energy emergency tips, but our net metering programs, heat pumps, city lights rebates, commercial technical assistance, bill analysis. So with that, thank you for your time, and if you have any questions,
Any questions?
where to find me.
Alderman Donlin.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ms. Saban, for the presentation this evening. We've obviously had a lot of time to absorb the last presentation and I've heard a lot of questions and answers about the topic in general, and I know how the utility is good about, I think pretty good about predicting things and predicting the likelihoods of both good and bad. And do you have a feel for what, on a percentage basis, the likelihood of something happening this summer would be?
It's something we really can't predict. All we know is that MISO said there's some risk. July has the highest risk. And it's going to increase with more plant retirements next year. And because of what we were talking about with the factors that influence the grid, weather, usage, transmission constraints, a plant going offline, can't really pinpoint it. But they can project right now with the plant retirements and the high load and the heat wave that, you know, there's some risk. How's that?
Well, okay. And then moving along, if something were to happen, whether it's this year or next year, what kind of warning time do you anticipate the utility getting?
There's a range. As much warning as we will give, we will try to turn it around quickly to the public. I think we missed in there what we probably said before is with all of MISO's steps, you know, if a plant goes online, they might skip conservation. But, you know, this type of maximum generation event has never happened in MISO North and Central, to my knowledge. South might have had some of it. So, not yet, but risk is increasing.
Do you have a feel for what that range would be as far as notification? Because that's the question I'm being asked by people is, if it were to happen,
Yeah.
you know, how much lead time are we going to be given as a?
I think a lot of times it's going to be same day,
Same day,
but
okay.
internally, we're going to already be doing steps to prepare our conservation and, you know, all the practice that we're doing for this.
And then, this is kind of a, I guess, I'll call it a technical question, I don't know if it is, but if something were to go down and we had to do the rolling, I guess blackouts is the appropriate term, how do you determine what areas, you mentioned the 15-minute increments, because we brought up before the concern about, you know, individuals, for example, the hospitals obviously is a no-brainer, but I mean, individuals that are in the residences that have, you know, oxygen condensers and things of that nature. How do you determine the areas that are or are not affected?
These are quick decisions that our electric operations staff train for monthly and put in many hours annually for, and they have a list of a number of circuits and groupings, and they'll have to work quickly to say, from the MISO directive, they're going to say how much load you have to shed, and they're going to go and find and match load by circuit, and they're going to rotate through. And again, a 15-minute power outage, our average power outage in Springfield is just under an hour.
Right.
So I think typically we're kind of used to it. I mean, blackout sounds bad, but it's a temporary controlled outage to stop a total blackout, which is much harder to overcome. And that's where the term brownout comes from, system damage. We don't want that.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. So, I mean, I can't imagine all the moving parts that have been dealt by MISO issuing this warning, so to speak. And what I'm getting at is, I guess, you know, let's just say we had somebody on 123 4th Street, made up the address, that has, you know, is on a oxygen condenser and needs electricity. I mean, does the utility have the capacity, I wouldn't think so, to be that address specific? It's got to be on a, I'll say sector basis, that's probably the wrong word, but geographic basis is.
Right. Well, if you're on oxygen, I believe all those systems have a battery backup. If you're relying on that, you have a battery. And we can't, you know, they're designed by circuit. You know, Ameren might be by substation, but we can get to smaller circuits.
Okay. So when I get these questions, and I guess anybody gets these questions, we should direct them to the utility to kind of just get an informed answer so that we have at least built those scenarios, because every specific question is so unique. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, that site specific,
Yeah.
but I think it's important that we realize that the utility doesn't have the ability in this type of situation to say, you know, that this specific address is not going to be impacted. It would have to be a wider basis.
And you're right with that. So, you know, one of the big things, we're getting a lot of requests from a lot of different entities. And of course, there's no way we can honor everybody's requests for special treatment.
Right.
You know, again, like you said, the hospitals are a different situation where we're going to be working with them either later this week or early next week, just to firm up, making sure everybody understands what exactly they have, and because we don't know their internal systems as well as what, what we have to serve them with. So we just want to confirm things up, making sure that's okay. Yeah, unfortunately, even if somebody that has an elevator in the building, that they're going to lose power for 15 minutes, and there's nothing really we can do about that. But they need to have their own procedures in place to deal with those kinds of power outages that they should have that anyway. As well as other medical facilities throughout town that are maybe more minor in nature, they need to have plans for backup power in event of any outage, let alone a rolling blackout.
Well, I want to say I appreciate how serious the utility is taking this and trying to put the message out. I do appreciate that. And then just one final question, because I've received this multiple times, is if Unit 3 were still running, and we all know there's many, many financial reasons why and environmental reasons why that is not happening presently, but if Unit 3 were still running, we would indeed still be in the same position, correct?
Exactly.
Because it
'Cause
is
we're talking about a
it is
large
Midwest
shortfall.
region issue, not Springfield
Yes,
specific.
we would need 25 Dahlman 4s to overcome the shortage they're predicting.
Thank you.
Alderman Redpath?
I think you might have answered my question. I've heard from Ed Curtis from Memorial, and they're very concerned. They cannot do surgeries with a one source of electricity. I guess you're going to meet with them next week, Doug, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And so he is very concerned, so I'll leave it at that since you've scheduled a meeting that you understand what the sensitivity of that is. There has to be exemptions for the hospitals if possible.
Just in general, Memorial's just a little bit different, so it's a little more complex. That's why we need to meet with them to kind of go over things. But there are some circuits that all the main facilities have, to where there's circuits, they do have like backups, the way I understand it, but they're also not a part of the rolling blackout as well. But there's also some ancillary things that Memorial has that we don't know exactly what they do there. So that's why we're going to meet and discuss that.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Doug. That's why I called you on Friday.
Alderman Hanauer?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. One of the questions I've gotten from businesses is how, okay, they get 15 minutes without power. How long can they expect before it comes back around for them again?
That's going to be hard to predict, but because we have 100 circuits in the groupings we can do, it's not very likely that we would be coming right back around on the same event day, so,
It also depends on basically the quantity, right? So the amount of load that has to be dropped from MISO, that will predict or dictate exactly what groupings they can do for circuits and how fast they have to cycle through it. Not fast, but the frequency of it. But the plan in general, what we expect, kind of from what they said early on, I think we'll be able to ride for quite a while before we'd have to actually repeat that. And the other thing too that we're going to look at is to making sure it's more fair in the process is that they're typically going to, they have they have a list of all the circuits in town, okay, in our grid. And what they're going to do is if they got through, let's just say 20 circuits on today, let's say if it happened today, tomorrow, and if it happened again, they're going to not start with those same 20. They're going to go to the next groups, okay? So that way, everybody's going to have to share in the pain, of course, with this process. But we're trying to make it as fair as we can and minimize the impact to everybody. This is the goal.
Okay, thank you, and you answered my last question with that answer, so thank you.
Alderwoman Conley?
Thank you. Actually, and Doug, you answered my question. My main question with that last also is that it's going to be a rotation, so we can't have anyone coming in and saying we always get hit first. It will be moving through the cycles. Okay. And then and Amber, you kind of alluded to this briefly. Will you be able to update the website this summer so that people, like if we know we're in a rolling, this is happening, we're in rolling, so that people can go in and look and see, okay, I'm 12 minutes in, they're telling me I'm gonna switch back on in 5 minutes because you said it might not be exactly 15. Will we have that? And then will we also have on that, like a notification to, this is where the next circuit is gonna be. It's like, if I go in and I'm like, okay, my lights are on, but I know there's an outage in somewhere else, and I can go in and look, and check the map and say, okay, heads up, it's coming for us in half an
Right.
hour.
Well, we're gonna widely announce it
Okay,
publicly in all of our available channels. And the outage map will update. There's two groups that do that. The operators that implement load shed, and then the other group that puts in the map data. What was the other question?
well, it's just kind of, will there be a notification of where the next area is gonna be?
No, we can't really do that. For safety reasons, it's not the greatest thing to always do that, but it's gonna happen in real time so quickly, we wouldn't be able to do that.
It's like, if you have to have 10 units, 10 cycles go through, there's no way we can notify like 6 through 10 that,
We would be saying,
I'm thinking mostly of
Right.
people like, we're talking about late afternoon in the summers, so that's, a lot of people at work, people are working from home. I mean,
it'll be beginning at 3 PM. The utility will be implementing protective power outages. And it
But it's gonna start
probably would
syncing
have with it,
documents.
it might have with it that, MISO is predicting after sundown, or, might have a stop time.
okay. So we'll at least have an expected time for how long this will occur,
Possibly.
possibly. That would be nice if we could have at least some sort of, an estimate for
Right.
people to understand.
It's just gonna be through MISO as much as not just us, but all the other
Right.
utilities and all the other states, they have to do their part too. So it's everybody in it together to achieve their load shed.
Thank you, and thank you for continuing to provide all this information and pushing this out.
So remember, it's typically, the hottest parts of the day that's really the peak loads, is during the week, Monday through Friday. They tend to be probably a little bit less earlier in the week than later in the week, oddly enough. But it's usually, say 3 to 8, maybe as early as 2, depending upon what's going on with the heat wave. But that's generally a rough time frame for that typically. But MISO may or may not give an end time, depending upon how they view the event.
Okay.
So
That
we're-
information at least will be shared, that we're not sure right now what this time frame is, and we'll just keep people notified.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Alderman Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just quick question. How does this work in relation to some of our seniors centers in St. John's Hospital who does surgeries as well? We plan on having some conversations with them just to make sure they're straight, and Springfield Clinic as well. I would assume they don't do surgeries there, but I would willing to bet they got some important things going on. So do we need to figure out if those high rises have backups or what?
So again, for the main hospitals, again, like West Memorial, St. John's, Springfield Clinic, those are the ones that we're going to be discussing things with. But, in general, though, they have their circuits, they're pretty much out of the rolling blackouts. I think Memorial is just a little more complicated. But we still want to reach out to them, talk to them, though, just to confirm everything up. Everybody else has got to plan. And that's the reason we started coming out with this, is to make sure everybody is aware of what's going on, that this is a regional event. I mean, as much as everybody wants to, blame the old Unit 33 retiring and those kinds of issues, that's not the case. This is a big issue that's really been brewing for probably a decade in the making. I mean, we've talked about it in the past a lot. No one anticipated that all those plants, the bigger plants, ours are pretty small in comparison, but all these bigger plants would shut down so fast. If they do, that's going to jeopardize things, right, as we move forward in the next few years. This isn't something that's going away next year. It's going to be around for maybe 5-7 years. We don't know. There's going to be a lot of work that has to be done to figure out how to move forward as the state of Illinois and as a region, I think, too, a multi-state region, what I say. But yeah, I mean, people really need to start planning on how they want to handle that. Other areas are definitely in a worse situation. When we're talking 15 minutes versus maybe an hour and a half, that's huge difference, in my opinion, on what the impacts are to residents and businesses. So I think we're luckily, we're pretty fortunate with how we're going to try to handle that situation, so.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Mayor. I think most of my colleagues asked my two major concerns, which I got both of the hospitals, and they have reached out and said, you know, how are we gonna work this out? So you all are meeting with them. And then I have my high rises that's pretty tall, so I was just in one last week, and they have 17 floors. I know, Amber, you said it's a safety thing about getting that information out, but is there some, like a Q&A that we can provide to them to just keep strongly encouraging them to have a plan B in place? Because some of these elders can't even walk, so they can't go down any stairs. So if it's gonna be,
Yeah.
I just heard you say maybe an hour or so, them knowing if you gotta go grocery shopping, your doctor's appointments, to do that earlier in the daytime versus when the elevators aren't
Right.
able to move.
Right. I didn't hit necessarily the safety component, but we do have another piece in our FAQs about power outage safety.
Please send those to me so I can get it out to them this week and they can start working on that.
Oh, you want the cwlp.com/energy emergency?
Well, what I want to make sure, though, is that everybody should know that we have a dedicated web page for this, too. So all the information's there. You can feel free to, well, you know, and Amber can send the link to you, but.
Doug, I understand that, but sometimes when people are in a panic, they are not thinking about a website. They start
Oh,
calling
no,
us right away.
yeah, I understand that, but this, the preparation, right? That's what we're
Okay.
talking about. So that's why we want people to be able to view this stuff and have it available. We can't mail it to everybody, but,
I understand.
you know, it's something we want to make sure is available. And if we share that link with you all, then you feel free to pass that on social media.
Right.
Those kinds of things. And I'm sure Amber will have it on social media as well, but.
Yeah, we'll email it in an energy emergency, concise information that you guys can share. We'll work with Julia on the neighborhood news email and what we can do to keep people informed.
And I would say to just continue hammering that and pushing it out every week. Like not letting that education piece die out where people can say, we didn't know about it or we didn't have a resource to follow through and look at. So just continuing to be repetitive and letting them know this is where we're at. This is what has already happened, looking for this area next. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Fulgenzi.
Yes, what I was wondering about is how does this affect equipment with the power going in and out? Will there be low voltage on the motors?
Yeah, with these protective power outages, they're controlled outages, so it's not gonna be a brownout or a drop in voltage. That's what damages
Okay,
systems.
so it'll be an on-off thing.
Correct. And people should always have surge protection on important things, just in case.
Might want to add that to the website.
Any other, Alderman McMinimum.
And as I understand it, Doug and Amber, you're going to exclude state government sectors from being impacted by the blackouts. Is that correct, their circuit?
Up to a point. So, you know, it depends on the amount of load that needs to be shed. But yes, there's basically a substation that they have that we serve a majority of the Capitol complex and the associated buildings with, that they're not a part of that rolling blackout
Thank you.
circuits.
Any other questions? Thank you. Next, we have Summer Griffith from the library.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Right. I'll do my best to be brief as I can, but I do want to lay out the future of the library, so I'm going to do my best to do that briefly. All right, thanks to Chief for laying out the roadmap to success icons that I hope we all use for the remainder of our city departments. That is a little astray up there, but we'll keep going. The mission of the library is to empower, connect, and inspire. And the vision of the library is that the Lincoln Library will be part of an empowered, connected, and inspired community where, and I'll let you read them. I'm not going to read everything to you tonight, but there are a couple things that I do want to highlight. We want every community member to have the opportunity to use technology to enrich their lives. And for people of all backgrounds, here we go. There was a read-only, yep, there we go. Hey, it's animated now. There we go. People of all backgrounds to feel welcome and connected to one another. And then lastly, the very last note is that no one's greatness is limited by lack of resources. And one personal anecdote I do want to share is that I'm a first-generation college graduate. I'm the only person in my lineage to this day that has graduated college, and I went on to get a master's degree. And growing up in a household where one has never been to college, you are limited by lack of resources. And it was the Lincoln Library. It's actually the branch that I have in offices now that during college at UIS, I would go and interlibrary loan textbooks because I could not afford them, and then I would keep them too long and then turn them back in and then do it again. So I often tell my staff that my unrelenting passion for equal access for all people is because without that college degree and without that opportunity, certainly my own greatness would be limited by lack of resources, and I really, truly believe in the mission of a library. So that is just a personal note of where my unrelenting passion about resources comes from. A little bit at a glance, 2019 to 2022. So a little bit about pre-pandemic and where we are now. Physical items checked out were down about 20% in Q1. And I do want to make mention that that ended in May. I had a hunch because I can see the people coming in, and I had them run June to June numbers, so 2019 June to this month June, and prorated this month's June. Our material checkouts, that's things going out the door, we are up in real numbers prorated from June 2019. So the library is certainly back. New and renewed card holders were down 26%. One of the reasons there is it's a couple of years and we had a big rush in the middle of the pandemic for everyone to renew and get a library card. So we expect to see those numbers to go back up. Ebook streaming is up 21%. Database views and information retrievals up almost 60%. PC use, this is a very, very important number. Please remember, we are down 42% in public computer usage, so please remember that. Database searches were up almost 50%, and print jobs were up a little over 80%. Accomplishments in the last 6 months since I've become acting director. I'll let you read some, but I do want to highlight the implementation of an equitable ban procedure and system-wide incident reporting system. The library had not had an equitable ban. It had had no ban procedure. So in your packets, the very last couple of pages, they're not slides, but you do have access to that. That was vetted by every member of staff as well as outside agencies and those who work with homeless to make sure it wasn't punitive, that it was equitable, that it was trauma-informed care, and it is across the board. So Alderman Donnelly, you'll forgive me, but that means that if Alderman Donnelly comes in and uses hate speech or destroys furniture or does something that way, or we have someone who's not housed, we treat everybody the same. And when you have that codified and you have staff training on that, that actually happens, because you can have policy all day, but if it's not equitably enforced, then it doesn't mean much. We have filled a lot of vacancies. I'll let you look at that. One thing I'm really proud of is that 100% of staff have been trained into be dementia friends. That is through AgeLink, a partnership, and that's a specific training for Dementia Friends USA. We've also been trained in de-escalation. As you know, my background comes from these kind of trainings, and I have trained people for a decade in these things, and it's very important to me. So we have SIU Trauma and Recovery coming in July to do a 3-hour training for our whole staff in trauma-informed care. And we have implemented the first active threat training and policies. The library did not have that, so huge shout out to SPD Active Threat team who has been working with us. That is ongoing. That's not a quick fix. We can always do better, so we are continually working to do that and walking staff through. It's a hard thing to do, but I'm very aware that we are a public open library. And then the rest we're going to talk about in depth, so I'll just keep going here. The Lincoln Library has some very real challenges, and I want to bring those up. We know that we have unacceptable behavior. This is drinking, drug use in the library, out of the library. One of the things that we have done is put in the procedure to say these are what are acceptable behaviors and these are what are not. And then simply enforcing that as best we can every time. It also means training our staff in de-escalation and trauma-informed care. It also means our incredible partnerships that we have increased. The Springfield Police Department is a fantastic resource. I'm always, to be very frank, I'm always surprised at their ability to de-escalate a situation and to work for good outcomes instead of punitive quick fixes. We also partner, I have PATH Mental Health that comes down, SIU, trauma, we're working with partners. Shannon Allen, we've asked to house her, and we work very closely with the Hot Cops and just to move that. So I will say it is getting much better inside the library. We know that we have struggles, and we also know that a library can't solve a methamphetamine crisis, and a library can't solve a mental health crisis or an affordable housing crisis, and these are community endeavors. But this is a challenge that we know that we have. Geographical location's a challenge. We are a sprawling city, and we're one location. We'll talk about how we're going to meet those challenges and outreach later on in the slides. And then budget funding, staff, and comparable libraries. And I know I talked to you a little bit about this about 6 months ago, but if you look at the bolded, we really broke down the numbers here to apples. So when you look at full-time equivalent per 1,000 residents in Springfield, we have 0.31 library workers per residents. The next nearest to us is Decatur. The next nearest to us is Decatur with 0.43, and then you can see what everyone else is doing, as well as the spending revenue per capita. So we really broke that down in the math, and you can see that we're spending far less than half than many of the our neighbors who have much significantly less population. So I don't think we can get past this, and the fallacy that you can do more with less is simply a fallacy. You do less with less, and you do more with more. So when we talk about roadmap to success with thriving library makes a thriving Springfield, and I will often say that I say that in the negative. I say you can't have a thriving Springfield without a thriving library. Last week there was a Pew Research and Axios News, and it was talking about how this is the opportunity for small cities to market themselves with young families and young workers because they're at this time have the opportunity to go anywhere. And it was specifically talking about small to mid-sized cities who are able to market themselves, and that is the time. So I'm going to break from that and talk about how this picture is used per permission, because those little hooligans are my little hooligans. Those are my kids. They got a library card, their first library cards last week. I also need to point out that they really just cannot wear prints that even come close to matching each other. The tops and bottoms of their outfits, really kind of incredible. So when we talk about what we're, the areas that we're moving in forward, technology, Sangamon Valley Collection, the aesthetic value and beautification of our area, particularly our library, outreach programs and bookmobile, youth services, and long-term goals. So let's get started. Technology. Technology at the library, it provides free and open access to technology. It bridges the digital divide. The numbers that I saw most recently for Springfield is about 10,000 households do not have an internet subscription. There's about 5,000 households that do not have access to internet at all. That includes a data plan. So even of those 10,000 households, which times about 2 is 20,000 people in Springfield that don't have any internet that's not on their phone. And I don't know if you have tried to look for an apartment or get a job or do anything on your phone, but it's impossible. It's a pain in the butt. So it bridges the digital divide. We're looking for workforce development and opportunity in a post-Zoom boom world where everything, all interviews, all applications are online. It promotes creativity and curiosity. And we want to talk about access to shared technology and software that otherwise wouldn't be available to us. Now, I want you to remember the number where our computer use was down 42%. It's not because the need isn't there. It's simply because our computers have not been where they should be. I came in a couple weeks ago and we had 11 out of the 31 public computers working. Our computers are between 7 and 10 years old. Our Nancy Huntley computer classroom have the original computers that went in there. The rest of our computers have not been updated. They're frankly unstable and unsuited. I had the new director, Mike Jameson from ISD, come through, look at all of our public-facing computers, and between the two of us, and he did a bulk of the work here. We put together a master plan for how we can address this issue. He looked at all of them, told us what we need, comped them, and we're going through ISD, and we'll talk about what we're doing. So we began immediate improvements. We purchased 2 Zoom Room laptops to be used in-house. They were about $150 a piece. We are in the process of an existing grant for 150 public hotspots. We've talked about it a couple times. It's a grant that laid latent for a little bit, but we have been heavily moving towards it. Just to reference, we have about 9 hotspots in circulation right now, and always a waiting list. Not all 150 of these will go in all at once. We'll rotate them out, but we will have them. So are in process of replacing all 70 public-facing computers. This is very, very important to me, and I'm very excited about this. And also, just so you know, in June 21st, 1978 was the first computer brought into Lincoln Library. Nancy Huntley started the next day, and Lincoln Library spent about $200,000 in 1978 for this first computer. So I'm kind of excited to be talking. I've been geeking out about that today, to be honest. So the Lincoln Library started, and when we talk about how we, I've hit 5 minutes. When we talk about our strategic planning for our budget, this is something that we have prioritized. We did 5 computers in the beginning. We put 2 of them in the print stations and 2 in SVC and 1 for another print station. We have done 16 computers that have come in, and they're starting to be moved out. We have purchased the second set of 16 through ISD. All this is going through ISD. The library's existing budget has been able to absorb that by prioritizing it. The next 2 set of 16s we will look to be used for the request dollars. And then the Wagner family will be honored by making the Public Computer Lab the Wagner, Public Computer Lab. We have internet switches coming for greater connectivity. I will say that this is the one thing on all of these slides that I haven't either executed or initiated. This is just great luck that it's coming this week, or month, excuse me. We also want to have innovative software. I know that we're going, this is really important. Adobe Premiere, Adobe Rush, try before you buy, things that you might only need a handful of times. If we have at the library, we share the cost for other people who otherwise wouldn't have opportunity to use it. We plan on having computer classes in our computer classroom starting in the fall. We've been throwing around a makerspace idea. That'll start happening in the fall to winter. A Cricut, that's not a typo. Cricut's actually like a vinyl type crafty program that you can print off neat stuff. I don't know, some of the reference librarians use it a lot. We're going to have youth computers with educational software, teen computers, and yes, for gaming. I'm starting to see teens return to library, and it makes my heart happy because I, too, was a nerdy library teen. And then also library things, which are untraditional things that you can check out through the library. We have a telescope. We also have some dementia-friendly fidgets so that you can check those out. We have a really generous donation from our foundation to do this and to build this over the next number of years. Sangamon Valley is our premier local history collection, not just for us, but for all over the country and the world. Netflix, the History Channel, they all call Kurt Mann, city historian, looking for information. I'll just kind of flip to this here. One quick thing that is one of our goals, it costs about $5,000 for FY24, is we have a great deal of microfilm that is starting to wear and tear, and we're going to lose it soon, and it's the local history smaller papers, Lincoln Courier, the Menard paper. Some of them were just in existence for a couple years in the 1860s. It'll cost about $5,000, but we're going to have it digitized, and then what's really neat is it's not microfilm anymore, and you can basically keyword search it. So if you're looking for a family name and it's basically, control find, but you can only do that when it's digitized. Another long-term goal, was one of our goals, we upgraded the digital scanner. We bought this neat thing, and it will digitize in the long term about 50,000 photo negatives from the Mercury Studio Collection. And just so you can see a couple of these, that's the NAACP picket of the post office and the Illinois Bell Telegram telephone company. So there's some neat pictures. And there's, again, these negatives are wearing and tearing, and we're going to lose them.
What's the cost on that?
That should be, that's actually one we can do in-house because of the new scanner we purchased in March. So we do have a volunteer that comes in and does it, but one of the things I do want to mention is that in 2015, SVC had 4 full-time employees, and now it has 2, and we're on the cusp of a real digitization mountain, or we're going to lose the local history. Aesthetic value and beautification. Okay, look at that griminess real quick, and because it's going to go away, because I had it painted. So it's very important that beauty, libraries should be beautiful spaces. So one of the things that is very important to me is the brick all the way around. I'm going to show you some examples of what other libraries have done. And I think this is very important. So what I would like to do in the next coming years is install, not put on the brick, I don't want any of our maintenance guys to have a heart attack, to install local murals across the bricks. Springfield does not lack for local artists. It does not lack for teens who can do art, and we would love to have it all the way around. So this is the Lincoln Library parking garage, and next to it is the Kansas City Public parking garage downtown. This is the library that my kids grew up going to. This is the library they're going to now. Again, when we talk about what is important to families in Springfield and what is important to people, we talk about quality of life issues. These are the quality of life issues. If there's one slide that says something to us, I think it's this one. Outreach and programming, we all know where the Lincoln Library is killing it right now in programming. All of our programs right now are maxing out when we have register each and every one of them. We've been at Jubilee Farm. We've been everywhere. We had 85 people for the Magician in that little box. Today I had about 100 people in a big foam pile. I don't know if you could see the spraying foam downtown, but we had a foam party. Our literacy rates, we had about 3rd to 5th graders read over 10,000 hours the first week in June in our summer literacy program. The library is back, and we're doing so much, and we can do so much more. Our outreach pop-ups have started. We're in the housing authority complexes. We're at 11th and South Grand. We're working to get into the Pillsbury area. We're prioritizing being a presence in the community, and honestly, that's coming with overtime hours. That's coming with a cost. Our extension services, I do have some numbers about extension services. This is homebound right now. We're serving 190 to 195 per month. This is homebound disabled folks who are elderly and can't leave their home. We do have room in that. We lost some during the pandemic. So if you have folks in your wards who are homebound, do reach out to us. And then our summer reading programs, of course. Bookmobile, where we're at, I love that picture. I want that bookmobile. It's very important to us as we talk about the future to have a hybrid or electric vehicle mobile branch. So we stopped, we put a pause on what we wanted to do, and we researched how to do it. We contacted Rivian. They couldn't do it at this time. So we have found an outfitter that does do a hybrid engine for large bookmobiles and blood work, so we're going to be working with them and expect an RFP to come early in the fall. Staffing needs will be a librarian 1, a library assistant 4, and an outreach manager who will take over extensions, outreach, and bookmobile. Youth services, consistent program and outreach, and this is really the crux of what I want to spend some of our long-term goals are, or next-term goals, right? So I don't know if you can see it or if you've been down there, but we have shelving all the way across. It's about 7 feet up. I can't reach the top shelf. My 7-year-old can't even look at the top shelf. Our furniture is pretty outdated. It's a table. They're doing a fantastic job with what they have. Amazing. It's beautiful in there all the time. But I want to show you some example of what libraries can look like. It is important to me that the Lincoln Library be a destination children's spot. If you have a library card from Rochester, Chatham, Riverton, you can check out reciprocally at the Lincoln Library. Our Springfield family should not be going to the other library locations. We should not have them fleeing from Springfield. We should be bringing in as a destination library location. So I just wanted to give you some examples. Another thing that we specifically need to do, so this is going to be a priority for FY24 and 25, using grant funds and leveraging the bequest. We have multiple entrances through shelving, and I just wanted to show you for safety reasons, we want to move to build that out and to have one entrance. So I just wanted to give you a couple examples. My long-term goals, as you know, is nothing besides being a top-tier library system. We can do that. We've shown that we can do that. We can definitely do that with more. We'd like to see micro branches and weekly bookmobile shops. We want to bring people together. We're already doing that. We'd like to see this in a greater capacity. And then things like eco-efficient buildings, because we still have fluorescent lighting in the Lincoln Library. And really, we're just scratching the surface. So what do we need to do that? We need to increase staffing over the next 1 to 3 years, including an outreach manager, bookmobile librarian, a librarian assistant, an SVC library assistant, and then to keep up with growing, the growth that will happen, circulation library assistant 2 and a reference librarian 1. And just to leave you with one of my true dreams, my pie in the sky dreams that I can see that we could do on the south side, if you picture the plaza area that faces the federal building, or excuse me, the federal land, there's really enough space there for outdoor seating. We would love to see an outdoor classroom as well as outdoor seating. I know these are plaza areas, but we have full opportunity to make the Lincoln Library be a fantastic destination, world-class library for a small city. We have every opportunity to do it, and I just wanted to leave you with what could be and what we could commit ourselves to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
Mayor?
Alderman Hanauer.
Yeah, thanks. I would be in favor of, if we've got historical pictures and documents and that, I would be in favor of looking at if we could use some ARPA money and get a company in there and get that digitized as soon as we can. I think that the concern that I have with, we don't want to lose those documents. That's they're pretty important.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether we can get a RFP together, and I know there's companies in town even that do that kind of stuff. Because I used them at the state when I was there. So I think, but I do think that it's something that and the only reason why I say bring somebody in is because you're short-staffed as it is, and it takes a lot of work to scan pictures in and, whatever. And they might have some special equipment that they can do things in bulk.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I would love to see what that cost would be and bring it back to the council, because we need to get that stuff, to get a backup off-site. Right now, we take a chance of losing a lot of that stuff. And that Sangamon Valley Collection's used a lot. I personally use it. There's a lot of people that use for ancestry and
Yeah,
stuff like
absolutely.
that. So that's important. So I would like to see that.
And just to clarify, the $5,000 for the microfilm, is this actually, that Advantage Archives is a company that we would send it to there in Iowa, and then we would own it afterwards, and then it is again keyword and digitized.
Any other discussion, comments, questions? Very good. Thank you.
guys.
Chair will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the June 7th, 2022 regular city council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved.
So moved, second.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances in the record of the city council meeting.
moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda in the record of this city council meeting.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Clerk, on 2022-231, I will be a present. Vote on that one.
Noted.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
250.
Noted.
49.
Noted.
Then Alderwoman Purchase and Fulgenzi voting for it. So the consent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Consent agenda passes 10 voting yes, none voting no, with the exceptions being mentioned to the clerk. Agenda number 2021-337, 2022-157, 2022-163, and 2022-236 remain tabled or in committee. Is there any motions on any of that?
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman McMiniman.
Calvin Pitts has got an ordinance that's still being held, and I asked him if there's been any resolution to his situation with the laborers. He texted at 1 p.m. today that he did send by certified return receipt requested mail to the laborers at, I think it went out on Thursday. He hasn't received a response yet, so I think we need to hold this further until we understand better the situation there with Mr. Pitts and the laborers.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is there a motion for an ominous vote on the appointments?
Mr. Mayor, for omnibus, I think we've got 6 ordinances for appointments, and those 6 are, and so this is going to be a request for omnibus vote on the appointments. That's 22-245, 246, 247, 248, 257, and 258.
Second.
Been moved and second for ominous vote on the appointments. Any discussion?
Yes.
Any discussion?
Are they all here, or have they been here?
Yes, there's a couple here that can introduce.
I mean, they were either at the committee or here, that's all I'm asking. Okay, thank you.
All in favor of the ominous vote, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Motion carries. Agenda number 2022-245.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to move 2022-255 to the front if we could.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to read these in first and
Okay.
vote on them. Thank you.
Did we take a vote on the appointments yet? We
No, I'm
voted
gonna
to.
I have to read
Got
them
to vote on
in.
them.
Correct, Counselor? Thank you. Appointing Samantha Raymond to the Springfield Economic and Community Development Commission. Agenda number 2022-246, an ordinance approving the appointment of Lisa Badger to the Springfield Convention and Visitors Advisory Board. Agenda number 2022-247, ordinance approving the appointment of Tiffany Mathis to the Civil Service Commission, as amended. And then agenda number 2022-248, an ordinance approving the appointment of Amy Martin to the Civil Service Commission. And then agenda number 2022-257, an ordinance appointing Frank McNeil to the Springfield Economic and Community Development Commission. And agenda number 2022-258, an ordinance approving the appointment of Nicole Clements to the Housing Policy Advisory Council. Chair will entertain a motion to place those items on final passage.
Second.
Been moved and second. And I do believe 2 people are here that weren't here previously, so if you'd like to come up and introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the council for having me. My name again is Nicole Clements, currently employed with PNC Bank. I serve in the PNC's community development banking line of business, work specifically with affordable housing and economic development in low and moderate income communities. And then prior to my time at PNC, which I've been with PNC since 2017, I've worked for the Illinois Association of Community Action Agencies and actually served as an affordable housing developer for the CDC that is a subsidiary of the Illinois Association of Community Action Agencies. So have done some extensive work in affordable housing and community development, and prior to ICA, the Illinois Association of Community Action Agencies, actually started my housing career with the Springfield Housing Authority here in Springfield under the direction of Miss Jackie Newman. So, or Dr. Jackie Newman, rather. I'm sorry. But certainly looking forward to this opportunity to work on the Housing Policy Advisory Council with the city, and just excited to be a part of the conversation to guide the housing policy of the city of Springfield. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, for those who don't know me, I'm Samantha Raymond. I am on the Board of Trustees at Lincoln Land Community College. I'm going to be very brief. I just want to say thank you very much for considering me for this appointment, and I promise I will do my best to further the ECDC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the ordinance, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the appointments passed, 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is 2022-255, a resolution authorizing advisory question of public policy for submission on the ballot for the general election to be held on November 8th, 2022, regarding the dissolving of the portion of all townships located within the city of Springfield. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-255 on final passage.
I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the motion fails, 4 voting yes, 5 voting no, and 1 voting present. Next item on the agenda is 2022-256, a resolution supporting the designation of the cul-de-sac located in Oak Ridge Cemetery. Or is this for first reading? Oh, no, this is,
Mr. Mayor, I plan to hold this anyway.
okay. So 2022-256, a resolution supporting the designation of the cul-de-sac located in Oak Ridge Cemetery regarding the Heart of War Plaza or Heart of Honor Plaza will be held in committee until the meeting is established.
I want to hold it, please.
Alderman, do you want to refer it back to committee?
No, we can just hold it here. We're trying to schedule a meeting with the veterans groups.
To postpone for 2 weeks to the.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 2022-257, the North, oh, we've done that one.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman McMinimum.
I have a dinner that I need to leave for, but before doing so, I did see that we have a gentleman that's spoken with us before that signed up to speak at the conclusion during the citizen request to speak. And I noticed the subject matter is a problem with a local judge. And when there's a problem with a local judge, the proper method to bring that to the attention of those that need to know about it is what's called the Judicial Inquiry Board. And I don't think this body really can do much about that judge. So may I ask Mr. Stratton not to discuss that, because I don't think it's really.
I just need to be heard, sir. This is a public forum where my speech is freedom of speech. I have a government grievance.
Well, okay.
I've done that with the board.
All right,
We'll address this
it's
at
not
the
your
end
turn
anyway.
yet, so, excuse me. So what I would suggest the council do in a situation like this, because we've been very generous to Mr. Stratton in the past, is we limit his time to speak. That'd be my recommendation, and it's with great respect to you, but I just don't think we're the appropriate body to. Well, it's not your turn to speak. You can speak later on. I'm just offering my comments because I have to leave. So,
Thank you.
That's
Councilmember.
my recommendation to the mayor and to the council.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2022-281, ordinance authorizing the purchase of 21 sets of firefighting rig gear from AEC Fire Safety and Security, Inc. for the Springfield Fire Department in amount not to exceed $54,789 for emergency passage. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-281 on final passage.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Alderman Redpath.
Did we put this out for an RFP?
We had bids from three they're all local, semi-local. We didn't put it out for a formal RFP. The problem is that from the time that we hire them and the time that we can receive the rig gear itself, we have such a small window that we didn't use the RFP process, but we did get bids from three separate entities, and we decided to go with AEC, who is a Springfield company, who could get them to us the fastest. They promised us them in 45 to 60 days. The other ones were up to 12 months. And these are for our new recruits, which need gear so that they can do their training right out of the gate here coming up.
Who owns this company?
John Archer.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
Hey, Chief, you might want to go check on, no, not you, just check on.
Go ahead and roll call vote.
Okay, yeah, we can roll call it.
It's emergency passage.
Yep. Alderman Redpath.
No.
Alderman Gregory.
Aye.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Fulgenzi.
Yes.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Aye.
Alderwoman DeCenso.
Yes.
Alderman McMiniman. Alderwoman Conley.
Yes.
Alderman Donlin.
Aye.
Alderman Hanauer.
Aye.
We have 8 ayes and 1 nay, Mayor.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. 9 and 1.
Next item on the agenda is 2022-282, an ordinance authorizing acceptance and execution of grant number 22-336001 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $1,170,523 for funding the Route 66 grant program, and authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $1,170,523 for the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau for emergency passage. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-282 on a final passage.
So moved.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. Do we have to do a roll call?
Yes. Alderman Redpath.
Aye.
Alderman Gregory.
Aye.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Fulgenzi.
Yes.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Aye.
Alderwoman DeCenso.
Present.
Alderwoman Conley.
Yes.
Alderman Donlin.
Aye.
Alderman Hanauer.
Yes.
Mayor Langfelder.
Yes.
Thank you. 8, say 10. 8 ayes and 1 present and 1 not here.
Chair will entertain a motion to suspend with the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-283, ordinance extending the term of the SHA Madison Park Place Tax Increment Redevelopment Project Area and Redevelopment Plan and Project to December 15th, 2034.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-284, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a redevelopment agreement with Helping Hands of Springfield, Inc. for its Park Street Apartments program to construct housing for families and individuals and veterans that are homeless, utilizing home ARPA funds in an amount not to exceed $800,000 for the Office of Planning and Economic Development. Motion?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend with the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-287, an ordinance authorizing additional funding in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Enos Park Exterior Rehabilitation Program utilizing Enos Park Neighborhood Tax Increment Finance Funds for the Office of Planning and Economic
So moved.
Development.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Yes, Alderwoman Conley.
Sorry, Mayor, I just want to make sure, did you intend to skip 2 of the ordinances?
Oh, we did?
54.
He was happy about reading mine.
I didn't want to mess with Lakeisha.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend and place on first reading agenda number 2022-285, ordinance authorizing the execution of contract with Enos Park Development LLC for purchase of the land and all improvements for 73 parcels of property located in Enos Park and listed on Exhibit A for an amount not to exceed $295,061.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes. So do we have addresses or know what, it's like, is this Ward 3, Ward 5, or?
Be all within Enos Park,
Some
Ward
of-
5.
Some of them will be in,
Most.
Ward 3.
But we do have the addresses that we can share those.
Yeah, if I could just get them, please.
They're in the
Exhibit
packet.
A, excuse me, Exhibit A lists the addresses
Okay.
for each parcel.
There should be an Exhibit A in your packet.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-286, an ordinance authorizing additional funding in an amount not to exceed $250,000 for the exterior rehabilitation program utilizing Far East Tax Increment Finance Funds for the Office of Planning and Economic Development.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-288, ordinance authorizing additional spending authority in the amount of $40,000 for a total amount not to exceed $120,000 for the Office of Human Resources for HSHS Medical Group to administer drug and alcohol testing for potential new hires and for current employees from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there any unfinished business come before the council? Alderman Gregory.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I was, had requested to speak on the 2022-25, and my question was this, is there going to be an update of what we, because I know this is a continuation of a program that we put in approximately, over $1 million into, so I would like to see the progress of what they have done, and, because I'm really interested in trying to replicate this, for some of the lots on the east side, so I'm interested in how this came about, so thank you.
Any other unfinished business? Just a reminder, the municipal band canceled their concert tonight due to the heat, and they'll have a concert back at Duncan Park next week at 7:30. They also do History Comes Alive, I think, on Friday at 2:30. Is there any new business come before the council? Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is kind of an old and a new one. Ward 9 has been infiltrated by broadband.
Oh, man.
Some think that's a good thing, some think that's a bad thing. I've been inundated with calls and emails and texts about the companies coming in and boring through private property and so forth, and I think I have a pretty good handle on what to tell the residents when they call. However, nobody has to get up, but if somebody could address this even later, it'd be nice if we had a one-pager that we could keep sharing, and that explains that the city really doesn't have control, and that gives contact information, so that if they learn that, and quite frankly, we can help make sure that the companies are informing the residents, because what's going on is at least they argue that they don't know what's going on. They think it's the city because we and other public utilities have marked the underground resources that are out there. And it'd be nice, though, if we had contact information that we could just continually share. So if you give that some thought and somebody could get back to me, that would be wonderful.
Is
Thank you.
there several different companies or one?
I think lately it's been AT&T and I3.
I3. Okay.
Been interesting. Glad to see there's somebody else's ward for once, actually.
AT&T's in Ward 8.
Very good.
Thank you.
Is there any other new business? Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I'm still a little worn out from this past weekend. It was an extremely long weekend of a 4-day celebration for Juneteenth. If you did not get a chance to come to the NAOR Black Art exhibit from Juneteenth, it is now open until November, and you all should go and see it. They really expanded over there at the Illinois State Museum. On the flip side of it, I would like to thank Public Works and Director Harris for getting out there swiftly to get the streets blocked off, but there was a few complaints about it not being done on time and the vendors having an issue out there. So trying to just make sure, it's kind of been an ongoing thing for events happening downtown too, to just really try to ramp that process up and make sure that we're communicating with these organizations when they're doing activities. And then great job, Director Bottom, because I think you got dunked about 5 or 6 times in the dunk tank. So, good job.
About 10 minutes.
Yes, he got dunked a
They were
few
lined
times.
up.
And we had a very great, I know Alderman Gregory is going to speak to this, but I was out there the whole weekend too, and we had a very great presence with the police department, Public Works, the fire department. It just was really nice to see everyone out there, including yourself too.
Very good. Alderwoman DeCenzo.
Thank you, Mayor. I've sat in that dunk tank one time, I think it was for 3 hours, so I know the feeling. It's lovely water. First, I want to bring up ongoing problems with waste management, at least in the Harvard Park area. They're not picking up. They're skipping pickups. I don't know if Alderman Gregory has also been hearing this, but something's got to give. Trash has got to get picked up. People are paying for the service, and it's not being provided. So just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. Second, I want to thank the Springfield Police Department for their swift action. They prevented what could have been a rather large party this weekend, and I was traveling and sent them something, and they got on it right away and shut it down before it even happened. So I want to thank you for your very quick action on that. Thursday, we have Bites on the Boulevard coming back. It's a big deal. It's in Ward 6 now. It's not in Ward 7 anymore. Sorry, Joe. But it's at District 23, and the last one they did last September was really, really great. Food vendors, tons of individual local vendors set up, so it's a really nice arrangement. And then since I wasn't here last week, I don't know if the fathers were acknowledged. Were fathers acknowledged last week? Okay. I lost my dad. This was my 20th year without celebrating my dad on Father's Day, so I just want to make sure I celebrate every other father on Father's Day. That's it. That's all I have.
Yes,
What time
Harvard
would the
Park,
bites
is that, they have just one waste hauler? or is
Oh,
that-
no, they have all 3.
Okay. Yep. Very
Time's
good.
the bites on
We'll
the
have that discussion.
I
Nate's noting
believe
it down.
it starts at 5. I'll have to look.
Alderman Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would start off first with Alderwoman DeCenzo's last topic on pop-up parties. I do understand that there's some meetings supposed to be planned on pop-up parties, and I would just encourage to ensure that, because we get these calls from our community, from our citizens in our community, and, if we don't know anything about meetings or any special things that we're going to do with the pop-up parties, it's really hard to assure them that we're on top of it. So I just encourage, if those meetings are being planned, to please reach out. As pop-up parties have been, an issue and a topic of concern in Ward 2. And lastly, I really want to compliment the ladies from the Juneteenth Inc. Committee. They've really done a great job rising Juneteenth to a level where we can get to a regional event. They've done a great job with it. We had a great weekend. I am too, tired from a 4-day weekend of barbecuing and things of that nature. But with that said, because if any of you were out of town, and I know some of you were, I have brought some MJ's fish and chicken ribs in the back. So help yourself to some of that and enjoy, and I'll see you next week.
You used to have it back there. You left it back.
Oh, it's gone already.
The other announcement I'll make, new business, is Citizens Club this Friday at 8 o'clock. Chief Brandon Blau, Director McCarty, and myself, along with Bob Gray, will be discussing the fire consultants report. And that will be, I think we'll record it and put it on the Springfield Access Channel, but that'll be at the Hoagland Center. And on, let's see, Thursday next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, on the 30th, we will have our public meeting with regards to HUD CDBG Annual Action Plan here in the City Council chambers for public comments. And if you'd like, you can go online at springfield.il.us to see a copy of the report. Or if you want to make comments online and not attend the public hearing, you can do that by going to the website and then just using /public comments. Is there any other new business? We do have a few people signed up to speak. First is Brad Lovin. And before you get started, just be a second here. The public comments are limited to 5 minutes, and if you'd state your name and address for the council, we'd appreciate it. The comments should be directed to me as the presiding officer, and the council or I, we don't have to answer or respond. It's a matter of giving you the opportunity to have your comments heard. It should pertain to something on the agenda or within the jurisdiction of City Council, and you're prohibited to use any insults, demeaning language, personal attacks that defames any person here or elsewhere, or racial attacks, slurs, name-calling, or engage in any type of behavior that intimidates, regarding yelling or pounding on the lectern, personal threats, disruptive behavior. Those that do would be asked to leave. So I'm sure you're not going to do any of that, but just have to state it for the record. So, Brad, if you'd state your name and address, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have some of those same rules at the Washington Street Mission every day as well. My name is Brad Lovin, and I'm the Executive Director for the Washington Street Mission on 408 North 4th Street, and I live at 3612 Sundance Drive on the west side. For more than 110 years, the Washington Street Mission has served the city of Springfield. Through dedication to building trust in Springfield, we've created a solid platform to project hope in the city. On the streets, many of our community members are nameless. Their faces, as you see in an alley, or those holding a sign on a street corner. At the Mission, we begin by building trust by learning each person's name, because you will not trust someone you do not know. Whether they go by street names or nicknames, each person's invitation into the community builds the footing for our future impact. This foundation is being known and building trust that allows us to plant the seeds of hope and redemption. At the Washington Street Mission, we're committed to cultivating that community. As many as 150 people now join us each day. Many of those who come to the Mission do not have a physical home. They struggle with mental illness or addiction. Circumstances have landed them as our community members in a situation where most communities in the city don't want them. They long for a place where they can belong. Those who serve at the Mission cultivate this community by moving rocks and pulling weeds and preparing the ground. There's little recognition or reward for those that volunteer at the Mission. Those who join in the work are not concerned with the fame, but know that the dark places in our city need light. At the Mission, we realize there's no one solution to the issue of homelessness. That is why several agencies have joined in our community to meet those needs. Many of those who visit the Mission have been overwhelmed by the barriers of mental illness, addiction, or circumstances. Some have a past that is often painful or shameful. As individuals find belonging in our community over the last 6 months, they discover that their past doesn't have to define their future. At the Mission, we find equality and discover that each of us has something to offer the community. We provide pathways of hope through services, counseling, mentoring, and much more. As community members become aware of this, and the fertile soil of their hearts is ready for the seeds of redemption to be planted, and while it takes some time to sprout and soil is needed for that seed to grow, it will grow. When you support the Washington Street Mission, you support an entire community working together for the city. An individual agency alone cannot hope to make a lasting impact on the growing homeless crisis in our city. Together, we can do much more than alone. I want to provide some statistics to explain what's happening at the Washington Street Mission over the last 6 months since reopening. From my experience in the Army, I realized that results demonstrate hard work of a team. We have a small staff and a small group of volunteers, but in the month of May, for 21 working days, we averaged 120 individuals with a high of 149. We provided more than 336 showers, 284 loads of laundry. We gave out more than 3,000 clothing items and met 249 immediate needs. With more than 40 volunteers serving 371 Saturday breakfast meals. Our weekly addiction recovery sessions average 13 individuals a week, and that's more than almost 10% of the population that's attending. We serve as a hub for several other agencies which are now working there. We're with Salvation Army, Memorial Behavioral Health. We see ourselves as more of a community hub than ever before. My focus since taking over has been on how do we make this a community location where people can engage. For various reasons, they are more likely to come to the mission than anywhere else. We would love to have some remarkable stories, and I could share stories all night of some of the things that we're seeing, but most of those stories end in tragedy. They end in overdose, they end in prison. What we're focused on now at the mission is changing the trajectory of an entire community. Rather than working to change 150 lives individually, we're about bringing them together so that then we can move them in a direction together. And sure, there'll be new people that come along every day and maybe pull that back a little bit. But over time, we're building momentum, but we need help. We've been asked in the past if we take public funding, and the past stance has been no. We're already serving anyone that comes in our doors. We have some of the same rules that we mentioned, of course, but we give grace. The next day they can come back unless it's a serious offense. And so moving forward, we're looking for options in which we can seek support of everyone in the city, businesses, organizations, churches, individuals, and government, in order to galvanize this community to move in a positive direction. Homes alone won't solve the issue. Community is one of the key components, and all the things that are going inside are also key. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Next, we have Heather Lichty. And again, the same rules applied that I read previously with regards to 5 minutes per speaker, all comments directed to the chair. And if you keep your comments to something related to city council agenda, and no usage of language that insults or demeans anybody or personal attacks, as well as behavior that's intimidating or so forth. If you'd state your name and address for the council, we'd appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Heather Lichty. I was here a few weeks ago. I live in Charleston, Illinois. And I am going to have Michael go ahead and speak for me, please.
Point of order.
Yep. Alderman Redpath.
Is she going to give him her time?
Yes. Evidently. Okay. But again, if
You're yielding your time.
Mr. Strack, correct?
Yeah, I'm yielding my time. I got back from Florida and I'm not feeling super well, so that's the reason.
And we're going to hand these out to the board members and you, Mayor.
But we did receive your written statement, which is on file, but that is more for the county and the judicial system.
Absolutely.
So that won't be heard tonight.
Well, it might be.
Well, no, you'd be out
this
of
is a
order.
public forum.
Well, this is just for business related to the city. And,
And the people of the city vote on that judge, and they need to hear it, so.
Point of order, he's already going.
He's already going after him. He's out of order.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Mr. Mayor, he's out of order already.
And we get, each person gets 5 minutes.
Okay,
You
so
can't yield your
I
time.
get my 5 minutes back because they've been interrupting me. So could we reset the clock, please?
I'll be the decider of that. Go ahead.
All right, so I'd like to talk tonight on the IG report. Number one, what was the conflict with the original IG guy? He said he had a conflict, and it wasn't with me. So if it was with the city, then how could he ever do any investigation if he has a conflict with the city? That would be my first question. Number two, Frank was the one that actually...
Well, if you'd refrain and direct.
Okay, Mayor, your city clerk, Frank Lesko, is the one that requested the IG report. He called me 1 hour before I was supposed to speak on April 27th. I was on my way here. And he asked me, he says, can I have the IG look into this? He'll do a thorough job. That's the correct way to go about this. And I agreed. I said, okay, I think that will work. Because I also knew that he was going to, I was giving him the rope. because I knew they weren't going to do what they said they were going to do. They were not going to do a thorough investigation. So Frank called me on April 27th before I was supposed to speak, and he was the one that requested the IG report. So let's start with that. That was the first thing. Frank assured that it would be a proper and thorough investigation. That's why I agreed to it. Not a cover-up like it turned out to be.
Oh, that's your opinion.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that is an
No, it's not, sir, because there's evidence that supports my opinion, which is factual, okay?
Well, the Inspector General, you're disputing his opinion, so that's your opinion. So if you continue.
Okay, sure will. Multiple emails were mailed. The Inspector General said there was one, Frank. There's a lot more in your server. So I sent a FOIA request to Frank, and I asked him to give me, and I'll read it as I put it, please provide the email FOIA request from Rex Range to Monticello Police. This was done in October or November of 2016. And then I even gave a little helpful email, like instructions on how to do this search, because I'm an IT professional. Go to your server, go to the search bar, open up the email, and type in Monticello Police Department. Hit search. It'll populate everything that was from Monticello Police Department. If he did that. I mean, that's the simple way to do it, but if he did that, because I know you all can search your emails for emails that are way back.
You direct
Pretty simple.
Your comments to me, please.
Pretty simple. So here's 3 more emails. They're in your packet. But the IG says there's 1 email, but there's more. There's a lot more. There's 52 pages of emails. That's kind of hard to overlook. Yeah, so we didn't get a thorough investigation at all, not even close. Says he did it on his break period, but yet these emails weren't minutes apart. They're hours and days apart. Well, does he got a break that lasts for hours? I don't think he does. But that's what you said. Yeah, he did this on break, but that ain't the case. And here's the disturbing part. Rex Range had my date of birth and other personal information that's protected by the law. How did he get that? That's what this investigation was supposed to reveal. So my opinion is that he went to the circuit clerk's office where there's records on file, and he took them. And he had the help of his son-in-law, Chase Short, who works in the office under the IT department. So they printed out my entire judicial record. Date of birth, social security, license number. So then he sends an email to Monticello. Hey, I need Mike Strack's date of birth, da-da-da-da-da. So he had it. How did he have it? So these are problems. How come a guy who's trained in how to handle personal data is not being punished for breaking those laws? These aren't rules. These are laws. They're class 3 felonies. You're telling me you ain't got any authority to do anything, but yet I watched a council meeting where you did a great job, by the way, on your first one, where you guys got involved in this black man's personal business because of civil stuff. You stood in the way of his progress for civil reasons, but yet you're telling me you ain't got no civil, no, we can't do that. But you did it to him. You're telling me one thing, a white guy, and you're telling a black guy another thing. So that's kind of concerning to me, that the rules don't apply to everyone equally, because that's the 14th Amendment. Fair and equal treatment under the law. That's why I'm going to be here every meeting to talk about the same stuff over and over and over, so that we get it out to the voting public of what people have done to protect our Constitution and to protect us.
Calling time, Mayor.
So there you go.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wish to address the council? Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
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 We're adjourned. Thank you.
So you violate my freedom of speech.
You already spoke. No, go ahead.
No, I did not, sir. I spoke for her. And as you have heard. I also, Mayor, did I